Welcome to the Big Biz Show, featuring insight, analysis, and a lot of stuff that's none of your business.
Hold on. This is the Big Biz Show. I think it is their business.
Making the markets work for you. Here's the man with the plan, Sully.
Hey, they're live from the Loft 100 Studios in sunny San Diego, California. In the new Loft 100 Studios, Big Biz Show's on the air. Great to have you along. 110 million TV homes strong every weeknight and weekend. We're also in 150 radio stations, simulcast on the Biz Talk Radio Network. And let's not forget American Forces Radio Network in 175 countries and all the ships at sea. And look who we have. We have the day trader Quattro with a very special guest, Tom Petty and the Heartbreaker drummer, one of the founding members of the Average White Band, Steve Ferrone. Guys, give me some love over there. Come on. Boom, there he goes. We got a chance to talk to him, and we'll talk to him throughout the show here. Thanks for coming, Steve. I appreciate it, because I know
You're welcome.
you're not used to not getting paid. In all seriousness, we're in the recording studio. James and I are in the recording studio with the rest of the guys, recording the album that'll come out next year. And Steve is, of course, our drummer for that.
Wonderful.
So, and of course, it's, you know, if you've been in the same room with Steve in a recording studio when he plays the drums, you don't hear the same ever again. If you walk in the thing,
You get spoiled.
yeah, you can tell the difference. It's great to have him. Hey, listen, one of my favorite guys in the whole wide world is coming up. His name is Fred Wagenhals. But before we get to Fred, it is Russ T. Nail's birthday today, and I wanted to say a few words because Russ T. Nails passed right here in our old studios just a little over a year ago. Obviously, Russ and I were together on radio and television for 30 years, almost every single day. There he is right there on the old set. Of course, we just wanted to say a few words to say how much we appreciate him. He is well represented here in the new studios. There's a whole Rusty Nails wall that we'll show you as time goes by. There's a Rusty Nails guitar on the wall there. And this movie, Scuba the movie, where he played the principal,
Yep.
is up for several awards at Cannes and a number of other film festivals. Of course, Russ is always. We could start putting Russ in the bar TV, I guess. But yeah, Miss Russ passed well too soon, and happy birthday to Russ T. In fact, the first time we had this guest on, Fred Wagenhals, the chairman and CEO of Ammo Inc., whose stock symbol is POWW, Russ helped interview him the first time he was on the air. So unfortunately, Fred has to be interviewed by you now.
I know,
So,
yeah.
Perfect. Just one more day, we would have been over.
Literally.
Hey, Fred is with us. Of course, this is one of the greatest stories that we've ever sort of talked about, and so many things Fred has done and started in his life. He is a powerhouse marketer, a product architect, and a promoter. I give you Fred Wagenhals, the chairman and CEO of Ammo Inc. Fred, great to talk to you, man. How are you?
Good, and you?
Good stuff. Hey, Fred, I want you just to take a minute here and talk about, all the things that you have been involved in, not just POW, and not just Ammo Inc., and so on and so forth, but you have a really varied history. Talk about that just a little bit. I know you're a humble guy, but I always love hearing your story.
Well, I originally started when I got out of high school. I went to college for 1 year and figured out that that wasn't for me. I had to go into business for myself. I wanted to be wealthy, and started out pretty poor. And I originally invented the jet pump boat, ran out of money, sold the patent to Bombardier for $75,000.
Bombardier, the jet ski boat company?
Yeah.
That company. Yeah, go ahead, continue.
Oy.
And then I did a quad cycle, a four-wheel quad cycle. I sold that to Jeep Corporation, who later sold it to Honda.
The first quad, yeah.
And that was $50,000, and couldn't raise any money to put them in production. Then I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and ran into Larry Mahan, who was a world bull rider. And Larry said, "Let's go to California. I got to teach this guy how to ride a mechanical bull for a movie." And it was John Travolta. Went over there, looked at that rickety piece of junk they had on the set, went home and designed a mechanical bull.
He invented the mechanical bull.
Why not? Why not? you know.
But it continues. It continues though. Keep going, Fred.
And I built 200 of them and sold them for $10,000 a piece. And it was my first $2 million in the bank. And it went from there. And then I got into, I looked at the die-cast business.
Yeah, this is interesting.
And what happened was I went to Dale Earnhardt. I called him up. He was in a deer blind.
The NASCAR driver, correct?
Yeah. And I figured if I could get his license and Rusty Wallace's license, I could take the company and maybe make $200,000, $300,000 a year. And I started the company, sold my house, gave Earnhardt my last $300,000, and took the company from $2 million that year in sales to $407 million in 8 short years. Was on NASDAQ.
And didn't you have the merchandising rights to NASDAQ for many years on your own? Is that accurate?
I had the merchandising rights for Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Tony Stewart.
Wow, that's amazing.
Had all their rights exclusively. Built the company to $407 million a year in sales. Was on NASDAQ. Uplisted in 2002 to New York Stock Exchange. Rang the bell. Sold the company in December of 2005 to NASCAR for $245 million. Was going to retire. And Richard Childress, Dale Earnhardt's team owner, took me hunting, and I got hooked on hunting, and went hunting with Dale in Africa, or with Richard in Africa. And I called Richard one day and I said, you know, this is the most expensive thing in my life. I've had 4 wives, but this is more expensive.
It's too bad you haven't. It's too bad. It's really too bad, Fred. You haven't had an interesting life.
Yeah, so boring.
This is more expensive than women. I said, first you got to shoot the elephant, then you got to mount it, then you got to take it home, then you got to build a bigger room to put it in.
Are we talking about the elephant or just want to be clear here?
No, it's the elephant.
Okay, sorry. I'm sure they'll get cut out in post.
But you know, it's been an interesting ride, and so then I got in the ammunition business,
and hence we have a company called Ammo Inc., whose stock symbol is POW. But talk about that because you have experienced unbelievable growth and continue to 2023. Talk about, you know, in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Talk about how this thing started, as well as gunbroker.com, because this has turned into a really interesting publicly traded company. Tell us about that story.
Well, my partner and I started the ammo business in 2016, and we did $2 million in sales that year. And in the 6 short years we've been in business, we took it to $245 million and $240 million in sales. I'm sorry. And we're on NASDAQ. And one of the things that happened after the pandemic was that I knew I needed to hire the right guy to be the CEO of the company. And I hired Jared Smith.
Yeah, we had him in studio. It was a really good interview.
Well, I brought him in 5.5 months ago. He's made some significant changes in what we're doing. He was the right guy for the job.
Yeah.
And then we bought Gunbroker.
Yeah.
And during the 6 months after we bought Gunbroker, there became a proxy fight. So we went through a proxy fight, settled a proxy deal. You know, you never win in these things. It cost $5.5 million in legal bills that the shareholders had to suffer through. But we got a hell of a company.
Well, I'll tell you, and I will tell you, once again, his name is Fred Wagenhals. He's the chairman and CEO of Ammo Inc. And, of course, they're publicly traded under the stock symbol POWW. You can go to a number of websites. I want you to go to ammoinc.com, but you can also go to gunbroker.com. But Fred Wagenhals is our guest.
Fred, the United States government, friend or foe?
They're a friend. I mean, on Gunbroker, you know, we abide by all the rules. You
Sure.
buy a gun broke, you got to go pick it up at a federal firearm place. You got to fill out your paperwork. So I would say they're pretty good friends of ours.
Yeah. Fred, listen, we're short on time today, but I want to get you back on a regular basis. I'd love to get you and Jared back in the studio face to face. We're going to start covering this company as we mentioned that we would before. But Fred, I appreciate you being so generous with your time. Always great to hear about the arc of your story and what you're doing next. And I can't wait to hear sort of what you guys are going to do next. Fred Wagenhals.
Dang.
Ammo Inc. POWW is the stock symbol. AmmoInc.com. We'll take you out with the sweet sounds of the Day Trader Quattro featuring Tom Petty and the Heartbreaker drummer Steve Ferroni. More Big Biz back in a minute.